In a perfect world, everyone should live authentically from birth and just learn just to be who you are no matter what.
Yeah.
People shouldn't have to come out. That's the goal.
All right, it's Thursday, June 2nd. This is episode 218 of the Token CEO podcast. My dad's birthday is tomorrow, so my dad's birthday is June 3rd. I actually got my parents 4 tickets to Top Gun, which I thought was like the perfect birthday gift. Like, you're in your 70s and you're a veteran and you're looking for something to do, like, why not go to Top Gun? And I remember watching Top Gun. When Top Gun came out, I think I was probably like 12 years old or something, and my dad forwarded through all the sex scenes, which is we had a TV where you'd like actually stand up and go like click the thing, and then we had it on DVR, so I guess we had a cassette tape with it on it. And my dad fast forwarded through all the sex scenes, which, like, I don't blame my dad, whatever, that's fine. Anyways, there's none of that in the new Top Gun. I thought it was excellent. Just like the perfect, like, highly entertaining, just stupid enough so that you know something big but entirely wrap-upable is going to happen at the end of it. So then I went and read about Top Gun because I was like, so Top Gun is bringing like a 40-plus audience back to the movie theaters for the first time. I went on Sunday night and it was packed, like not a fully sold out movie theater. I don't know when the last time I've been in a fully sold out movie theater was, but then I was also reading about Tom Cruise's deal in it. So Tom Cruise negotiated a very old school but very good deal. So he negotiated the deal for the movie before COVID, is my understanding. He got paid $12.5 million up front, which is going to be like chump change in the grand scheme of things. So to make money, Top Gun has to gross, I think, $400 million. And he gets 10% of all the money that Top Gun generates after they hit whatever the target number is they have to hit. So he is going to have, this is Tom Cruise's big payday, which is kind of cool. And then the other really interesting thing is Paramount produced, I think Paramount is the company, or Paramount is the studio behind Top Gun. And there's going to be this pressure to put it behind Paramount Plus, right? So right now it's in the movie theaters. They pushed very hard for a theatrical release. Tom Cruise is going to be motivated by that because not all tickets are $11. Like, I think I paid like $25 a ticket. And so there's going to be this tension of when this thing goes onto Paramount Plus, when Top Gun Maverick goes on Paramount Plus. And what's going to happen is that Tom Cruise has control over the distribution. So he has to be bought in to say when it's time that the distribution of the movie changes, which is very rare. Like, you don't see that happening a lot. You have like a mega old school movie star. You've got kind of an old school release strategy. And then essentially when Paramount decides that it wants to put it on Paramount Plus, they're going to have to pay Cruise off to do it. The other thing they're saying is that basically everyone in Hollywood is like, oh, maybe people will go back to the movies. Like, maybe things aren't dead. Maybe it's the way, they'll go back to the way they were. I don't think that's true. Also read a really interesting article this weekend. Maureen Dowd, who is a writer or reporter, I think she's more of like an opinion person from the New York Times. So Maureen Dowd interviews Ted Sarandos. So Ted Sarandos is the CEO of Netflix. And super interesting interview, actually. So they meet, I guess they go to like a very long lunch in DC, and it kind of describes his mood. And he's very, he's dressed casually, and he's kind of not exuberant, but his mood is very upbeat. And it was kind of the context of like what's happening with Netflix. I guess he's had some trauma in his personal life. And essentially how everyone in Hollywood now is happy that Netflix is failing. Like, the schadenfreude of Hollywood is so happy to see Reed Hastings and Ted Sarandos failing, and kind of the idea that the streamers can falter. But I thought it was a really interesting piece. The thing that I liked most about it is he was super upfront that essentially Netflix has had so much success over the last, 10, 15 years. Like, they've just had this extraordinary success that it made them not curious about their problems, and it made them not introspective about how they do things because they were winning and because things were going so well. Obviously, we're not nearly as successful as Netflix, obviously, but it made me think about Barstool and kind of like what we're going through right now, which is like we weren't that intellectually curious as a management team about how we were doing things because it was all going so well. I think there's probably a lot of businesses right now. I think the businesses in the best position possible will be going through that introspection. Like when you read about what's happening right now in the world, is like the economy is overheating. Like we are in a bad fucking situation with the economy, with the war in the Ukraine. In the US, obviously the shootings and the gun violence is just next level and out of control. And there seems to be this like bleak, obviously the political scene, there's this bleakness in terms of what will happen next. And, you know, with the economy in particular, like when the car you're driving is overheating and you're driving too fast, which is essentially what's happening in our economy, and you slam on the brakes, the car spins out of control. So what everyone who's way, way smarter than I am is trying to figure out is like, how do you slow the car down without crashing it? And that's a very delicate balance. That politics are involved in that. The Wall Street's involved in that. Investors are involved in that. Companies are involved in that. And so I think what's happening right now is, there was an article this morning that, you know, if you're a startup CEO, you're pretty depressed right now. Raising money is going to be harder. Consumer demand is only going to get shakier. You're probably having employment problems where nobody can find anyone to work. So many businesses are having success. So many doors are open. There's not enough people to staff all of them. So there has to be this retraction in order to make things work. And people are really struggling with that. And startup CEOs in particular are very vulnerable, because if you're trying to grow your business, you need money to grow your business. So when you go back to the Netflix piece, like all Netflix cared about was growing subscribers. They didn't care so much about making a profit. They cared about growing subscribers. And when the subscriber growth started to falter, everyone starts to shit on Netflix. And so what's happening now is that because the economy is uncertain, because no one knows where the money is going to come from, people are having to think about profitability. They're having to think about sustainable business practices, not just showing growth. And so, you know, for as hard as things are right now for us, where, you know, we're trying to figure out how to steward this business. We're trying to figure out what the Penn acquisition is going to look like. We're trying to figure out how do we mature as a company while still being extremely immature and opportunistic and casual and cultural, right? Like those are the dynamics that are at play at our business. But we're doing that with a business that's established and profitable. And, you know, what I'm trying to do mostly right now is figure out how do we have more rigor, and how do we have more introspection about how we do things and why we do things. So, you know, we're back from Memorial Day weekend. I find that like my brain goes to mush. Like I texted Pete when I got back from the 3-day weekend, and I'm like, oh, I've forgotten all my passwords, which happens to me every long weekend. But I think that there's something of like, okay, like we're headed into summer. It was a beautiful weekend on the East Coast last weekend. I hope everybody had a great break, but I also feel like there's a lot of headwinds ahead, and now's a really good time to get organized. And, you know, in my case, in our case, like we have 7 months to figure out how we're going to be part of Penn and what we need to do to set that up for success, how I start to build businesses that can last us for the long term, and then how do we just stop doing a lot of the shit that never made sense in the first place and that we just never paid attention to, or we won't, you know, to use the words from that article, like that we just weren't curious about. I think when you're having success or things are going well or they're easy, whether it's in your life or it's at work, you tend not to be curious about like the dark stuff you're hiding under the rug. And what I'm trying to do a better job of is be more curious in my life and also curious at work about like, what are we shoving under the rug, and let's get it out from under the rug, because if we solve those things, we can solve all the other things. People are not limited by how smart they are, or how lucky they are, or how much resource they have. I think people are limited by how much curiosity is inside of them and how ambitious they are about that curiosity. And one of the things that I'm starting to see here, or just think about here, is we tend to, when we give information from one group to another at Barstool, we've gotten in this habit where we obfuscate. where we give so much information that you can't distill anything from it. So when you could have one chart that's like, we missed the Memorial Day weekend sale, or we hit the Memorial Day weekend sale, we tend to spend a lot of time talking about, oh, we were up 20% from last year, and oh, this was so successful, and oh, we learned this. But we've obfuscated the leading indicator of, did we hit our goals or not? And I think that's something that I'm trying to be more curious about in terms of how should we set up these metrics? How should we be thinking about our business to solve leading indicator problems? And I think that's what everyone should be doing, whether it's in your own life, whether it's in your company, whether it's in your team or in your job. It takes some discipline to do that, because I think it's kind of human nature to hide that stuff or avoid that stuff. And then I also think sometimes at work, it's easy to just shove people off or slough people off by giving them too much information, or burying them with data, or burying, when asked a question, you bury the answer in too many words. And so I'm spending a lot of time thinking about that. All right, so let's talk about Sirius XM. I listen to reggae music all weekend long. Like, I love reggae music. It puts me in the best mood. My biggest piece of advice that I've learned in my life, well, one of, is when it's rainy outside or gloomy, if you put on reggae music very loud, you will be in a better mood. Like, if you're kind of like, oh, I'm hungover or gloomy, or it's raining out, or you've just been through a breakup, or shit's not going right, if you put on some reggae music, you'll just automatically feel better. So then I got to this thing, which we'll introduce later in the episode, which is that basically you can learn every lesson from your life. Every lesson you need to know in your life from a reggae song. Like, the Marleys were fucking geniuses. So all that said, I listen to my reggae on the Sirius XM app. Yeah. It's the SXM app. I have it on my phone. They've got amazing channels on it. I was listening to the reggae channel all weekend long. I loved it. Had it on repeat. Everybody knows I like the Dave Matthews channel. I actually took a break from my Dave Matthews channel. They've got 425 channels. You can download the app. Sirius is not something that you just listen to in your car anymore. So if you get tired of the your daily mix playlist from Spotify, or dinner chill playlist from Spotify, and you want to put some music on that somebody else curates, you can do so with SiriusXM. So if you subscribe now, you can get 3 months for free. Visit SiriusXM.com/token CEO offer to sign up. Details apply. So let's move to Q&A. All right, first question. Were you ever stuck in a job that you didn't enjoy? Yes. I like my job, but I feel like there's more out there. Like, I need to find what I love and am passionate about and chase it relentlessly. Do you have any advice? I mean, I feel like this person just answered their own question, which is, you need to find what you love and are passionate about. Everybody, I think, has been in a job that they don't love. And I actually think it's fairly dangerous, and you're not in touch with yourself if you haven't been in a job that you don't love. I also think that you can have a job that you don't have to love all the time. Everybody doesn't like their job sometimes. I don't like my job sometimes. I've been here 6 years. There's been plenty of times where I don't like my job. But when you systemically don't like your job, then you have a choice. And the choice is, do you settle? And you're like, I don't care. I love my life outside of work. I love my workout routine. I love time with my friends. I love where I live. I love the type of money that I make. And you're satisfied in settling with the job you have. Or are you the type of person who's like, I want to have a job that lights me on fire and that makes me feel fulfilled and that inspires me and pushes me? I've always tried for the latter, but I also really, frankly, understand the former. I think the second thing is, a lot of people get caught up in wanting a job that is tied to a subject matter you're interested in. And I think that's super limiting. I actually don't agree with that. Just because you love sports doesn't mean that you should work in sports marketing. Lucky people are able to find those two things. But I really think the notion of finding a job that you're passionate about and you love comes down to what is it that you like about work and what is it that you love to do? Do you love to work with other people? Do you love to close deals? Do you love to keep things neat and organized? Do you love to communicate? Like, what are the things you love to do? So write those things down, wrap those things up, and then go apply to 10 jobs and at least start the interview process to see if you can find a job that inspires you and that you love and that fulfills you. Second question, how do you evaluate compensation as part of the job offer? Money isn't everything, but how can you evaluate when it is? Okay, great question. So compensation matters, right? You work and you only have, 24 hours in a day, and there is only a certain amount of money that you're going to make for those 24 hours. So there's all sorts of different criteria that you can have in choosing a job, but money is certainly one of them. And if money is the most important thing, then you're going to figure out a way to make the most amount of money for that 24-hour period possible. What I would do if I were looking for a job is I would do as much research as you can about how someone in that position is paid. Are they base and bonus? Is there an equity component? Is there a profit share? Like, how does someone in this type of role get paid? I would do as much research as you can about what the salary bands typically are for that type of job. So I think there's all sorts of sites where you can do that. You can probably look at Glassdoor. You can go on all these websites that can give you a sense of, hey, this is how much you make when you are a first-year sales executive in the pharmaceutical industry, or you're an agency planner, right? Like, you can find out generally this is how much these people make. I also think that during your interview process, it's important to get a sense of what is the pay range for this role. Now, there's all sorts of rules about what the hiring manager can ask you. I don't actually know if there's many rules about what an employee can ask a hiring manager, but you want to get a sense of how the role is compensated, and you want to map that to what your goal is for that 24-hour period. And then I think the most important thing is to stick a number in your head that you can live with and that you can be happy with. And if you have that number in your head, then you put that number forth. And that number could be twice the amount of money as you're making now. That number could be less than you're making now. That number could be the same exact number as you're making now. But have the number in your head. Get that number after you've done your research. So your number, you're not like, hey, I'm a junior agency planner and I think I should be making $1 million. Like, nobody's going to fucking pay you that. But get a sense of context and then put a number that you can live with and be happy with. And then put that number forth to the person you're interviewing with. Don't do it too early. Don't do it too often, but find the right moment where you can articulate how much you feel like you need to make to be in this position. And then that is the place where the conversation starts. Be firm, be clear, have the right justification for that number, and be receptive to the feedback, right? You may not get the job because you priced yourself out of the range, and you got to be cool with that. So whatever the number is you choose, you got to say, if they pay me less than this, I'm not going to take the job. So make sure you have that conversation with yourself before you have the conversation with the company. But that's how I would evaluate what compensation looks like. The other thing you can do, if you're trying to understand relative offers, is when you go out to find a new job, go look at 3 different companies in the same space and get a sense of what the salary ranges are for each one of them. What I always found is if you're at a hot startup, they're gonna pay you less, or if you're at a cool brand, they're gonna pay you less than the stodgy old company, but it's gonna be a better experience, right? It's gonna have more perks, it's gonna be cooler. Companies generally know when they're hot or not, and they pay accordingly. But you're gonna have a sense of context of, hey, if there's 4 companies in this category or sector, you can know the range of the low end is this and the high end is that, and you can decide where you want to be. And then it also helps you give a little bit of weight to not only how much money you can make for that 24-hour period, but what do you want that 24-hour period to be like? And depending on what you value most, that helps you get to a number that you can live with, and make sure that you have a life that you want and a salary that you're comfortable with. I recently went through 2 interviews for a life-changing job. The first one went super well. I was very confident. The second one, I was a little bit more intimidated. I was meeting with 2 execs that I'd be working for. They seemed very nice and down to earth. I don't think I showed them that I was intimidated, but at the end of it, in one of my answers, I lost my train of thought and I told them that I had a brain fart. I guess that it showed that I'm real. I sent them both a thank you email the following morning individually and have connected with them both on LinkedIn. Anyway, is there anything else I can do to stick out more and to show them I'm the right choice for the job, or do you think I've done what I can? I don't want to be annoying. Ooh, okay, everybody has brain farts. I have like 6 brain farts an hour. I think it's a little bit hard because you already reached out to them and you don't want to seem like you're overthinking it or you're too eager or you're a psycho. But I think one thing you could have done, or if you find the opportunity you still can do, is to say, hey, you asked me this question. I think I could have given you a better answer than I gave you in the room, and this is what the answer would be. So I guess my advice is you've done the right thing. You've sent a thank you note. You've followed up with them. If you want to go the extra mile and not too much time has passed, it's kind of like when you overthink yourself in a relationship and then you act like you let that psycho part of yourself out of your head and then you're like, oh my God, I got to reel it back in. You don't want to be that person. But I also think it could be appropriate for you to say, I've given more thought to the conversation we had. I really wished I had conveyed this to you. And with regard to the question you asked me, I really would want you to know that this is how I would solve that problem, or this is how I would think about that situation. So that's how I would approach that. Honestly, if they're not going to hire you, they're not going to not hire you because you had a brain fart. Everyone on the planet has brain farts. So you're not going to not get the job because of that. But I also think there's a good lesson to learn in that when you're interviewing, you have to have your A game on. Like, you have to stay focused. You have to be on point. You got to be in the middle of answering one question. You got to be thinking about what your question is back to them. So if you don't get this job, then let it be a learning lesson about how to focus in and how to stay, how to stay present and how to stay committed to the things you want to convey when you're in an interview. We have a new sponsor. It is Sakara. Gwyneth Paltrow, I understand, eats Sakara. Is that true? That's amazing. Allegedly. So check this out, like perfectly packaged. It's lunch. This is the Earth Bowl with tahini ginger dressing. Rachel Beeman is like staring at me wanting this for lunch right now. And then I have, this could be like breakfast or dessert. It's a chocolate love muffin with superfood caramel. What's amazing about Sakara is it's incredible quality. It's very high end. It is a delicious, nutritious lunch. It helps you boost your energy. It helps support your digestion. It can help with your sugar cravings. I just crave wine, which I'm realizing has so much sugar, and it gets your skin glowing. So who doesn't love that? What's also amazing about Sakara is it gets delivered right to your door. So you can order it for yourself at work. You can put it in the refrigerator. You can store it. That's what we do here. You can order it to your home. You can have it for dinner, whatever works. Anyone listening to this show gets 20% off. So if you go to Sakara, that's SAKARA.com/token, you get 20% off. That's a big deal. Sakara is an investment. I think what more things can you be investing in besides your sleep and your health? Sakara helps you do that. So go to sakara.com/token to get 20% off your first order, or put code TOKEN in at checkout and you'll also get 20%. So it's Pride Month. Couple things on Pride Month. We have a podcast called Out and About. We have the hosts of Out and About, which are 2 gentlemen. One is named Joey and the other is named Pat. They're on the show with us. Pat McAuliffe has been with us probably since 2016 or 2017. I've had Pat on. I think he and Kyle Maki were on last June for Pride. What's other gay slang?
Oh God. We had the exact same reaction. Oh God.
There's a
slang
lot?
in terms of like just anything at all.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of different, what are they called technically? Tribes. You got, the bears, the
I
twinks.
love the bears.
Yeah.
Okay, the
So
bears,
you got
the
all
twinks.
the twinks. There's otters, wolves.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm not even sure if I know all
No,
the.
yeah.
Pat's one of those guys where he kind of like toiled in the trenches at Barstool. He would not leave. Like we were like, we don't have a job for you. He was the producer of the radio show. He kind of bounced around as a producer on a bunch of shows. He was a great blogger and a high volume blogger, which in 2016 and 2017 and 2018 really mattered. Frankly, still matters now. But he was the guy who like came in every day. We didn't pay him very much money. I think he had like an internship salary. He blogged all the time and he produced all his shows. And then one day he created this podcast called Out and About. What's amazing is he found Joey probably 6 months ago. So Joey Camasta is a comedian. He's a makeup artist. He's a personality. He hosted a podcast with Snooki. And the combination of Joey and Pat together kind of just lit that podcast on fire. So I think it's like the serendipity, the work, the grit, the like time in the trenches that is like the perfect come up Barstool story. I think that we're one of the few places where someone can just have a passion project that kind of drifts along for a little bit and then something extraordinary happens and it can be big. So I love that about Out and About. I love the chemistry between Pat and Joey. I love the message that we bring to the LGBTQ plus community, which is you can be yourself. You can talk about anything. I think they do a great job. Joey describes it if they have shock value and they talk about their lives and they talk about being gay and they talk about things that they find funny or ironic or annoying in the gay community. But what's also really cool about Out and About this Pride, we're putting the Barstool difference to work. So we are going to invest in a float. So we're supporting a charity here in New York that supports LGBTQ youth. We have a float in the parade. We're doing a whole big activation, and these guys are making it like a foundational part of who they are and what they do, which is kind of the goal of the Barstool difference to begin with, which is it's not just about making t-shirts and it's not just about reacting to bad things that happen in the world. It's about giving time and giving awareness and giving voice and giving attention to people who are helping other people, in this case, people who are helping the gay community. So I'm just going to hand it to Pat and Joey. All right, guys, introduce yourselves and how you got here. We'll start with you.
Yes. To the camera?
Whoever you want.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joey Camasta, and I'm from the Out and About podcast, and I'm honored to be here.
Okay, what'd you do before?
Before I did this, I still do. I'm a celebrity hair and makeup artist by trade. So I've been working in Hollywood, in New York, Milan, and Paris for Fashion Week, doing red carpet and film.
In Russia?
Moscow, doing red carpets, films, musicians, commercials.
Okay.
Television shows, all that good stuff.
And is that how you met Snooki?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell your
I met Snooki, my best friend, on a job one day.
Okay.
I was doing her
Jersey Shore job?
Jersey Shore job. It was it was a job for MAC Cosmetics. She was hosting a little show they were doing, so they hired me to do her makeup. And it was 7 a.m. She just came in off a plane from a tanning convention in Chicago.
Tanning convention. That's amazing. What happens there? Like, do you just lie in the
GTL.
and talk to one
Yeah,
another?
I think she was
Minus
hawking
the G and the L.
She was hawking some suntan creams or some
okay.
like bronzer.
Like the accelerator. I used to buy that shit.
Yeah, so she was hawking this. She came off the tanning convention. 7 a.m. She rolls in and remember in Peanuts the character that had all the dirt around him, like
Pigpen?
Pigpen.
Yeah.
She rolled in like Pigpen, and it was like hair extensions and body spray and cigarettes and gin and booze. It was just like a hot mess.
Okay.
All rolled into one. And she sat down. She sat in my chair. Her hair was knotted up, and she was like, had my makeup on for 3 weeks. And she goes, "Will you do a shot with me?" And I said, "Yes, of course." So we started ripping shots at 7 a.m. And then as I was performing on the show, because I was actually a contestant on the show as well.
Okay.
So I had to work, and she would say, "Can you get that makeup artist back here? My eyelashes falling off." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" My one big chance with her is like, now she's gonna think I'm a shitty makeup artist. I was like, "Too stupid." And then I go in, and she's like, "I was only kidding, bitch. I wanted to do more shots with you." And like, so we was like, start like, she's like, "I just wanted you to get back here again."
Have you always been so likable?
Yeah.
Even as a kid?
Yeah, it's
Where are you
annoying. It's Union, New Jersey.
She doesn't know.
Union, New Jersey. Okay.
I do. I get it. And I hate to say it. I don't have to knock on wood because I've done it my whole life. I get away with so much.
Yeah, because you're so lovely.
I think that's what it is. Like
Yeah.
I it's horrible to say, and knock on wood, but I literally skate through life and just like get get. Like,
Okay.
I think it all comes to personality.
I agree.
And that's the one thing I got. I didn't get the body. I didn't get the money. I didn't get the fame or any of the, or the big dick or any of that. But I got what I got, and I work with it.
You got a great thing though.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pat, then what about you?
How do I even
enough.
follow that? How do I follow that? How do I follow that? I've been
I
here
know.
for going on 4 years.
Yep.
Wrote my way
She's
in.
like, what was your name again?
And I feel like most people.
Pat literally sat at a, what do they call those tables? Pat sat at a fold-out table
Stop.
with his back to the middle of the room. Like, it was the worst.
You know who I sat next to?
Set up.
Alex Cooper and Willie Colon.
Yes.
Oh.
And Liz Gonzalez. The four of us at a table.
At a fold-out table. We did not pay him for years.
Erika was like, we don't have the budget. I was like, I'll wait.
Literally, he was
That's
like
fine.
all waited out.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
And I
That
wrote
shows
my way in, and
perseverance.
here I am. Host of Out and About now. Been doing this for like a year. Joey came on in the fall, and it's been good things ever since.
Yeah, it's been lights out.
Yeah.
He
it's been
writes
awesome.
a lot on his little computer.
He's a
A
good
friend of mine
writer.
a friend of mine was saying, wait, that's Pat? She goes, oh my God, I love his writing. I was like, is that what he's doing on that little computer? Typing away all day? Like, I was like, what are you typing over there? He goes, my job, I'm a blogger. I said,
He goes, we have a website? I go, yeah,
I did.
we have a,
I didn't know
we have
you-
a
I didn't know-
website.
I didn't know what
Do you have
happened
the
here.
app on your phone?
I have everything. I downloaded the sports
I
book
made
app
sure he had
this
everything.
weekend because my friends wanted to bet on the Celtics game. And,
How do you feel about the Celtics? Sorry to interrupt you.
I like the
I'm
green
ready.
team.
They're amazing. They're
Well,
the first time in 12 years that they've been in the finals.
And I said it's better for me at work if I root for the Boston teams because that's, if the Boston team loses, work is going to be very, very mean and snappy. Everyone's going to be in a mood. If the Boston teams don't win, I've noticed this.
It's true.
And so I noticed when the Boston teams do win, everyone's more happy at work. So I was like praying that they would win, and they did.
Can I interrupt you? So last night I was watching this documentary on Netflix about. I watch documentaries all the time because I'm a nerd.
I love documentaries.
Like animal babies.
Ooh.
And what it was telling me, what I was learning about it is that the lions. So if you're a lion cub, you get to be like protected by your mom for a little bit, and then after too long, all the guys have to go out hunting, and they're all like a bunch of gangly teenagers going up, and they fuck up the hunts all the time.
no.
So in this case, they were going after some water buffalo, and the like teenage lions kind of fucked it up. They like managed it wrong.
How fun.
But when they do that, all the lions get really bitchy, and then they start like attacking one another, which is kind of like Barstool Sports when the Boston team
Yes,
loses.
that's
So
very
you're
great
very astute.
analogy.
It's just like the Sahara.
Exactly like that. And the vibe is, I just know the vibes are off. So I'm happy they won.
Well, they're in
They
the
won
final.
the
Pat
finals.
was on my basketball team.
That's right.
You were on the Chippewas. I was
I
the
can
coach
say.
of our rec basketball team.
How fun.
Yeah, it was all right.
Well, he's apparently
Years
he's the
ago,
best
there were some
player.
characters on that team.
That was a time. But Pat was a very good basketball
He's
player.
very
Yes.
good at athletics. We just did Barstool vs. America together.
And how was it?
He was very athletic.
It was fun. That show
I was very
going to
emotional.
be-
Yeah, people are very excited about that show. You were emotional? Well,
I
that's
tried
fine.
to
That's
quit
what
every
you bring
day.
to the table.
I tried to quit
Every day you go to production, he'd go,
You know what?
it's not for me.
It's not for
It's
me.
not for me. I gotta go.
Why wasn't it for you? It's too hard,
No, the challenges were very physically draining.
too demanding.
Yeah. All the bigger guys that were involved died at least. Almost died.
Well, for you, it was he didn't want anyone to hate him. It's like me, I'm in there, I'm cutthroat, I'm like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, like I'm trying to win
Does
this.
anyone really believe it? Are you mean?
No, I'm not mean. I'm competitive though. So
You are
we had a
competitive.
hypnotist on our show to uncompetitive me and make him competitive, and it
Oh,
worked.
you see,
worked.
that must have been, that's like your nightmare scenario.
Yeah, I don't
But
like
he
being
crushed
competitive.
every challenge, and I was like, no spoilers, but I was so laid back, and he was so competitive into it.
But it was
Okay.
it was a good experience all around. But yeah, that was
It was
challenging.
draining. It was
Okay.
15
Yeah.
days of
That's a lot.
high noons and traveling.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
a lot.
fun.
that
You
was
were
a lot.
like
And
Snooki
and
when she
sleeping-
came
and
into
sleeping-
your chair.
Yeah, and I had to sleep on that little bus.
Oh, I wouldn't like that.
Um,
Okay, so for people who don't listen, tell them about Out and About.
Out and About is a LGBT leaning comedy podcast.
Do you drop Q or?
We can do Q.
QAnon.
QAnon. LGBT QAnon leaning.
No, really, like don't you have to say all
No,
the...
LGBTQIA.
LGBTQIA comedy podcast with myself and Joey, where we
What's
talk
the A
about
one?
asexual.
Yeah.
Mostly ourselves, our lives,
Okay.
what we observe, what we see going on in the office, what's happening. I would say pop culture, but we don't really touch that. It's mostly just about stories that we have about ourselves, stuff we're doing in the city.
Related to your sexuality, related to being gay, or just
Yes.
in general?
Yeah, I would say
think
so. It's a
it
mix.
all falls back onto it.
Yeah.
The reasons that we run into these things we're running into.
Do you think because your sexuality plays such a role in who you are?
No, I just think that I just get myself in situations that normal straight people wouldn't get themselves in.
Oh, like what?
Oh God.
Like fondling an Icelandic man's balls on a rooftop the other day.
Really? How was it?
I almost got carpal
Were you
tunnel.
invited to do it?
Yeah, I almost got carpal tunnel. They were that big.
Really?
Yes.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I decided he
How long
invited me
does
over
that
for
go
sex.
on for?
It was you don't even want to hear
just
this. It's so dirty.
urination. Just until he finished peeing, and then he zipped back up, and I ended up.
Wait, you're in the bathroom and he's going to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Of the
Isn't it
brass
hard to
monkey.
I just held his balls. His dick wasn't hard.
Well, did you want to hook up with him?
Yeah, not in the bathroom though.
Okay.
I'm a lady. Go behind the dumpster like a real bitch.
Okay.
I think there
Things
were no,
like that. So like the things that are kind of shock value.
Well, there were no like gay podcasts like ours. So a lot of like gay podcasts
general, in
are
the
based
world.
around
There's not
like
a lot of gays like us in
advocacy,
general.
like safe space dialogue. Me and Joey were like, fuck that. Like, let's peel it back.
We're like mythbusters about like everyone has stereotypes about what gay
Okay.
people are. Not that saying like we're the sporty, like they think like gay people aren't sporty. That's not.
Are
That's,
you sporty? You don't
no.
seem sporty.
We say what really goes on in the culture, like
Okay.
unapologetically and openly, and in like a raw
unabashedly
way.
We say what everyone wants to say, but
Right.
they can't.
We say what
Okay.
everyone knows, but no one says.
And do you get canceled within the gay? Like, does the gay community like you, or do they not like you?
They like us.
They like us, but not. I mean, like the ones that like us are kind of the same as us. Like feel the same way as us. The other ones are just too cool to even know who we are.
If you have a sense of humor, you'll like our show.
Okay.
I think that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. And I think a lot of people, like the tide is turning, a lot of people were very afraid to say things, like especially gay people about, gay culture and gay topics that are going on because they're afraid of how it will come off. Like, we don't give a fuck. We say exactly what we feel. We say what really happens in a bathroom bar when an Icelandic man shows you his dick at the urinal.
There's lots of
we
bleeps
say what
as well. We get
lots
Okay.
of bleeps. We say what really goes on, and I think that's like resonating. I
And
think
what are
people
the
like
other
it.
gay podcasts like? Like, are there stars? Like, who's the Alex Cooper of gay podcasts?
Tim
Us,
Dillon.
probably, I would say.
You?
Yeah, I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
No. Tim Dillon is huge, but he doesn't talk about anything gay. He's a massive comedian from
Yeah.
Long Island, both in stature and in following.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that helps.
And then we have, other than that, the space is like, there's not really any breakout stars, which is like what we're trying to be, essentially.
Yeah.
There's less culture read us. We're going to Watch What Happens Live
Yes.
Okay.
on June 14th with Matt
That's great.
Rogers and Bowen Yang of
Okay.
SNL. So we're going to be on Watch What Happens Live with them.
They're a big podcast.
They're a pretty big podcast, but yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your message to someone who hasn't come out yet, or people who are finding themselves, or just trying to understand who they are?
Everyone has to do it at the time, right time for themselves. You know what I mean? Like if you feel it's safe for you to come out, I always suggest. We get so many emails and messages asking us like, what should I come out? Or, like, how should I come out? My message is, if it's safe, you feel safe to come out, and not your life isn't going to change because of coming out. But if you know that your parents are going to throw you out of your house, you might want to like
Get a plan first.
get a plan first before that's going
It's
to
like
happen.
finding a new job. Like people
Right.
ask me about
Exactly.
finding a
You
new
know,
job.
if
It's
you
like,
feel-
well, make sure you have enough money.
There's no right time to do it. I mean, I think that in a perfect world, everyone should live authentically from birth and just
Yeah.
like learn just to be who you are no matter what.
Yeah.
People shouldn't have to come out. That's the goal, I would say.
Is there still the like coming out moment now? Like
For dramatic.
I
ways.
think
when
it's
I
less
was
and
in my
less.
20s, it was like coming out
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
this like epically
Like,
terrible,
now no one cares.
nail biting thing.
No
now
one
it's
cares
like
now. Literally everyone's bisexual now. It's like all the coolest kids in the world. All the guys are wearing nail polish. Everyone's fluid. Everyone will kiss everyone. Everyone loves everyone. So I think that's the perfect kind of shift in
Culture.
energy of
Yeah,
culture. What's
yeah.
going on now? But yeah, I mean, still in rural places like down south and things like that where it's very Bible Belt. It's harder to come out, because everything's about religion.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to really do it when it's right for yourself and your situation. But, it could be scary. That's why we're working with our charity,
so talk about that.
LGBTQ Center here in New York. And they have programs for youth that come out and they get thrown out of their house. They have the resources to get them into housing. They have the resources to have a safe space to be and to get them set up with with jobs and schooling and things like that. They have a youth center there from ages 13 to 23 over there that they're able to take kids in after school programs, tons of things. So that's why we chose them, because I think that's and there's every issue is is, you don't put thought into, but that's I think that's the best one for us, is like, being thrown out of your house and family because of who you are, or not being able to do anything. I think that's most important to us.
Bullying, that sort of thing. That's why all these shirts we're selling, we have limited edition merch. We have this, and we have the Proud AF, which is our statement for the month. So all the net proceeds of this, which you can get at the store, are going to go to the LGBT Center. And like you said, it's very like, it's not like GLAAD where it's this huge corporation. It's like you can see the difference.
Yeah, that's right. You can feel it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just for anybody watching or listening to this, so I think you all are the first best example, $1 Million will follow, of the Barstool difference, where we picked an organization, you feel passionate about it.
Yes.
We're going to use what we can do, which is basically very mouthy, creative, funny, likable people, merch, which we make to drive proceeds to those organizations. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And we're going to be having the first ever, I'm excited to announce.
Oh, I'm so excited
New York
for
City
this.
Pride Parade. Barstool Sports will be there for the first time in history. And it'll be Trish and I on the float with everyone from the office. All the boys are going to
100 people. We're going to be going down
100
Fifth
people.
Avenue all the way across.
In our
South
Chevy
Street.
truck,
In
I
our
think.
Chevy Silverado.
Silverado, all decked out and about with our faces on it. And
Have you worked on the design of the truck?
They're working on it this week. and
Okay,
they're gonna
that'll be
finalize.
amazing.
Yeah.
It should be
Can't
very
wait.
creative. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, colorful, and we're
When
excited.
is the Pride Parade?
June 26th.
Yep.
We're pumped. I was like, I had like a
amazing.
little like moment. I was like, oh fuck, like we're going on Watch What Happens Live. Like I was
Yeah.
sweeping floors there 6
Yeah.
years ago, and I'm like, and I came to Barstool, and it was very different 5 years ago, and it's like, now we're in the Pride Parade,
Yeah,
and we have
that's
100
amazing.
people marching with us. It's a pretty cool like full circle
100 people
moment.
from Barstool are joining.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
It's
friends of
amazing.
ours, families, we have
Yeah.
families coming, our families and friends. We're trying to get Brianna chicken fry in a bikini.
Trying to get Billy Football
football
in
and jock
a
strap.
harness.
And a
Oh,
harness.
that would go well.
Kelly B and Nick,
Yeah.
boy Junda's going to appear topless.
He's in keto.
Dave Porter might be topless. We'll have to see if we can get him in there.
Yeah, I love that. And talk about Pride Month in general. Like, how do you feel about Pride Month?
Well, I think Pride. That's a perfect example of how we feel. Like I was about to roll my eyes. That's how I feel.
okay.
I feel like that's how I feel about Pride Month.
That's how I feel about International Women's Day. There's
Okay.
about 27 of them. I
Yeah.
feel like.
So I'm rolling my eyes. Pride Month is an eye roll thing because, again, like I said earlier, it should be accepted from the beginning. It shouldn't be. I don't think we should
You don't
have
need
to
a
be
month.
celebrated or a month.
Yeah.
But
you do.
I just think it's very, everyone wants a little piece of the gays. Okay, no, you can literally go into a 7-Eleven and there's like Pride merch, or like literally Kmart or anywhere, every corner of the world, and everyone's getting a piece of the action.
It's become very corporate. But
Yeah.
like at the same time, we have benefited from growing up in like liberal Massachusetts and New Jersey, where it hasn't been a big deal. So for
Yeah.
us, it's like Pride Month. But for the the kids in Idaho or
Yeah.
East Bumfuck wherever,
Yeah.
like this is a huge deal. And I think when we're in the parade, and the Barstool fan from
Yeah.
Missouri who sees this can be like, oh, this is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we it's like it's a lot, but we recognize
and
it's
we're
necessary.
also old and bitter at this
Right.
point. Like we've seen it. Like I've
We've been
mean,
through
how
it.
shaken
old
my
are
tail
you?
feather. 43.
You're not that old.
But I'm compared to I've
You
been
look
doing
great.
But in the gay world, on gay years,
Are you
I'm
old?
79.
Oh, well.
But no,
sucks.
I've been shaking my tail feather since I was, and I
I
never
know,
had
yeah,
to
you're
come
like, I'm
out. So I've been
tired,
doing this since
yeah.
I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
Going to the parade, my parents were very supportive. I've been doing gay shit since I was, a kid. So like I'm let the girls have it. Now has to put her orthopedic shoes on.
Okay,
Just
I
to get
got you.
around. I can't be keying down Fifth Avenue in a hot pair of pumps anymore.
And are you looking for a relationship or no?
That pivoted.
Oh, don't go there, sister. Don't go. No.
No, not right now.
Yeah.
Because this is your moment, or
I
because
think so. You
Yeah.
know what I would know? It's because I'm terrified of getting cheated on. That's number one. But number two is I think subconsciously, and I'm a Capricorn and very driven, I need to be 100% in a place, happy with my goals and my place,
Yeah.
and then bring a lover in. And I'm
Yeah.
right there
Yeah.
with this. I'm
Yeah.
almost a homeowner if I keep my thing up here.
Okay, that's
I'm not
great.
really, but but if I, a couple more years working here,
Yeah, you could be a homeowner.
yeah, that's
Great.
my goal is to be
That's
a
great.
homeowner and
Are you
have my
saving?
no.
Well, you got to save.
I'm gonna start saving.
Start
if you
saving.
go out to dinner with Joey, bust
We'll go
open
there,
the
girl.
checkbook. He is like, it's insane the amount of food he orders.
Well,
He likes
it's,
to spend.
it's okay to be hungry.
No,
Yes.
But you should have a budget.
No, yeah, I know.
There's
No,
like
but-
a bunch of
so
apps
yeah.
that could help you with that. I can
Yeah.
help you with that.
You know who I can help with? My friend, Mrs. Dow Jones. Do you know her?
Yes,
She'll
she
budget.
could also help
She'll
you.
budget. No, so I'm waiting for to be a perfect space for myself, and then I think I'll be open to
To somebody
sharing
else.
my life with
Yeah,
someone else.
That makes sense. What about you?
I am in a relationship.
Oh,
yes.
you are?
I am.
That's so
yes.
exciting. Congratulations.
Yes, thank
Are you
you.
His
happy?
fish
I'm
sticks.
very happy. He calls them fish sticks. We don't
like
say
it?
his name on the show. He loves
It's
him.
fine.
He loves him. But no, it's going well. Can't complain.
How long?
We've known each other for a couple of years. We've been dating like 7 or 8 months.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
long time.
Happened organically, not online,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
nice. It's rare. Not on
You were at-
Grindr.
you were at a glory
not on
hole.
Scruff, not on Squirt.
You were at a glory hole.
Not at a glory hole, correct. At the Eagle.
And you went, is that you? Is that you? The
Okay.
little hole.
All right, I thought of something this weekend, which is that I think that you
This
could...
is so much fun. Sorry.
Is it?
Yes, I love it here.
Oh, okay. I like it. I
Yeah.
like you here too. So I decided that I think that you can learn most lessons in your life from a reggae song.
Oh.
If you listen to reggae, you have. I'm serious. But
is
I
wow.
was thinking about you two. My favorite song is, I think it's a Ziggy Marley song. Like, you have to be true to yourself. And there's this great line, which is that if you don't deal with it, it keeps killing you little by little. And
Yeah.
it made me
Yeah.
think about you guys, which is like, you're so proud about,
It's true. It's true.
That's very
so
true.
It's a little
though.
too true.
right?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think that's a great message. It's
Okay.
that really gave me chills. If you don't deal with it, that's true. It's like when you put it off.
If you bury something inside of
With
you,
everything.
it
Yeah.
will just
like
eat
hold
you.
it, like you
Hold you
hold
back.
it in. You explode one
Yeah,
day.
that's right. Okay.
That's smart.
All right. What else can I tell you guys?
Trish.
Describe the nickname.
I don't know.
Oh, I called.
It's good podcasting. I don't know.
So I called Pat Trish because growing up, my mother, anyone named Pat, she would call them Patricia, name Patricia.
Okay.
She'd call them like nicknames for short,
Okay.
Trish. So I've owned every time I met them with Pat, I said, "May I call you Trish?"
And I call him Nana because he has a very grandmotherly vibe.
Yeah. Well, no, she wanted me to come and to record something at 6 o'clock at night, and I said, "I got at night." I said, "Nana's already in bed with her readers on by that point." I said, "I
Do you
can't."
go to bed early?
Oh, the
If
sleep
I had enough to
schedule.
drink. I have a very weird sleep schedule. When I get home from work, I usually like pass straight out.
You need a nap.
But then I need a nap. And then I wake up 9 o'clock, and that's when I eat. That's when I start
okay.
ordering at Seamless. Okay.
Now he'll order
Okay.
a 3 a.m. Domino's.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll order a 2 p.m. pop.
Yeah, my sleep schedule's all messed up, but I do I'll sleep anytime. I love sleeping.
Same.
And the air conditioner for long hours. You know,
What time do you wake up in the morning?
It depends on what I have to do that day.
Okay.
If I don't have anything to do,
Are you disciplined or no?
I don't know. Well,
Are you? You're pretty disciplined.
I'm disciplined, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
In
like,
certain
I don't like being
things.
told, I don't like being told to wake up on time though.
No. He'll text me, he'll be like, what do we have going tomorrow? I'm like, we got to
You
record
don't
an intro,
look
we
at,
got to
you
record
don't look
this.
at your calendar and you're like, okay.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
I know it's on the he presses a button on my little computer and it pops up, but he won't show
okay.
me where the button is. So I, don't know
I
how
keep the
to- I know how to
calendar.
do it.
It's just my way of controlling him.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what's next for the podcast?
Well, next for the podcast
Live
is
show.
live
Okay,
shows.
where?
The
Oh,
the
it's so gorgeous.
Sony Theater,
Sony
July
Theater.
16th.
Sony Hall.
Sony Hall, excuse me,
Sony
July
Theater.
16th.
That's an MSG. Sony Hall. Have you ever been to Sleep No More? Remember that?
I have
that
been
thing?
to Sleep No More.
That vent. That's
Yes.
that's where it was held.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a cool venue. It's somewhere in Manhattan. I forget
So
where it is.
500 people.
Yeah.
500 people?
450. But,
450,
But,
yeah.
you know, but gays were shady. We'll pack them in.
Okay, are they going to come? Are you charging money for tickets?
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
That's amazing.
For tickets,
Do
for
we have a
meet and
sponsor?
greet.
Not yet.
This is our
Okay.
proof of concept.
That's why we can't. There's proof of concept, but we don't have a sponsor yet. That's why the Lively at least said, don't get crazy with the requests. I said it because we were looking for,
Yeah.
you know,
You
I
want
want to be
your
lowered in
rider.
from the stage.
Yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
I want to
I
be
come in
lowered
on a
in.
jetpack.
She
you know,
wanted
maybe
to get a CO2
gun to shoot
gun
panty
to shoot
shields.
panty
at the
shields
office.
out
Okay.
to the audience in case anyone's spotting.
Okay.
You know, we have a whole list of things we wanted to do. But you know, we're gonna start small and then we'll build up. But I know.
I love that.
Are you thinking about our fans? We call them the Ma'am Mafia.
Yeah.
Right.
They are 100%
They're diehards.
supportive no matter what
Yeah.
we do, and they show the fuck.
They show up. Yep.
They show up on tour when we were at our meet and greets when we were out on the road for Barstool versus America. Every stop we went, the Ma'am Mafia was
it was
there
insane.
in herds.
It was
in herds.
insane.
Yeah.
Tampa, Nashville, like
Awesome.
everywhere. They
They
were
come out. So that's why I
all
know
over.
this live show is going
You know
to
it's
be great
gonna
for
work.
us
Yep.
because you know as long as we strategize them with areas smartly where people are able to travel around the country to
Yeah.
get to where we
Yeah.
are.
We want to
great.
make it like an
Sell it.
experience too. Like we
It's
want
the
lighting
best
cues,
girls'
we
night
want
out.
music. Like
Okay,
we don't
great.
just want to sit
You're
up there
gonna
and
plan it.
podcast.
Are you going to produce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
produce it with
Yeah.
Marty and Sandra will help, but we're gonna
Marty
we're gonna,
Mush?
No.
No, Playboy Marty.
love
Oh,
No.
Playboy Marty.
Yeah.
How the fuck did Playboy Marty end up on your show?
I don't know, he's the best though. He's one of all our fans love him.
I mean,
his
he came
mother
in with Mincy. I mean,
his mother is the biggest fan of ours.
Jerry Black.
Jerry Black.
Shout out
Well,
Jerry. She
we
slides in my
have a
DMs.
Facebook page called the Ma'am Mafia.
Yeah.
And she's like the CEO over there. She's like
That's
she's holding
amazing.
court saying all this stuff, and she's
She's
wild.
like the team mom.
Yes, exactly.
She's the best.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're excited about it. It's basically our show is basically the girls' night out, the best girls' night out ever. We laugh, we drink, we tell stories.
Why do gays use feminine things all the time? Why do you call each other
It's
feminine
like
words?
funny.
It's
Funny.
Is it insulting or
no,
is
it's
it-
not
no,
insulting,
no,
and
no.
I
How do
don't wanna say
lesbians
that.
feel about
It's
this?
tough to explain.
It's almost like
I just think it's interesting.
it's a term of endearment, kind of. It's like I don't know. It's just something we always do.
a brotherhood, a sisterhood.
Brotherhood. It's like saying oh her. That means like
they're gay.
we're
You
all,
let them know.
we're all like safe, a safe space.
Yeah.
It's hard to
kind of
explain.
interesting though, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah, we don't call girls him though.
No.
Yeah. It was lovely having you guys.
I know, this is
Thank
so
you for
nice.
doing
What an
this.
honor. I thought they were punking me when they asked us to come on.
No, you guys are so great. I've been wanting to have you on for a while.
I know.
I'm so glad you're here.
I am too. No, thank you for having me. This has been
Yeah.
like such a great experience. I love working here.
Oh, so that was my last question, which is, do people not like you because you work for Barstool? Like, how do you
No,
deal
I don't
with
find that. I think it's
No.
quite the opposite.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very impressive thing. I feel like it's so cool to be here. Yeah, no, I
You
feel
don't get like their
I think initially when I started, there was a
homophobic,
little,
misogynistic,
No, not now.
that whole thing.
a
I
little
don't
bit of
think so.
backlash at first, but now this is like the place to be. Everyone loves
Yeah.
it.
I think people trust my judgment. Like I wouldn't be here if I knew that it was a
if it wasn't a
shitty
great
place.
place.
Yeah,
Do you like it here?
I love it. Yeah.
What do you not like?
I don't like that there's not sparkling water.
I would agree with that.
Why can't we get
That's
a
so
claw?
annoying. I hate
Ice
that water
maker?
out in the hall. Oh, an ice maker.
And there's one upstairs. But
Okay. Well,
well, this was lovely. Thank you for
all right.
having us.
Great.
Yes,
Thanks for
thank
coming,
you.
guys.
Back.
All right. See you later. Circling back. Are we doing circling back, Bryn? All right. Let's do it.
Jonas Brothers back new subscription media biz for celebs. So they have a new subscription media company called Scriber that allows celebrities to charge their biggest fans for exclusive content.
The Jonas Brothers are behind it.
Yep. It's going to be open to other celebrities and they can choose their price. So the Jonas Brothers are doing $4.99.
For how much exclusive content a month, does it say?
It doesn't say how much, but they can like text you and like give you I don't know, song releases or like
Okay.
updates.
I mean, I tried to do this business
Really?
before Barstool. Yeah. I think celebrities give away so much of their content to Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, less so, Twitter, less so than that. They're driving the reach of those platforms and they're driving the engagement of those platforms, right? The Kardashians, every time they post on Instagram, are just driving attention to Instagram.
Yeah.
If the Kardashians went behind a paywall where you could only access everything from the Kardashians if you paid $4.99, that'd be a really interesting business. But everyone would have to commit to being behind the paywall. And when you put things behind the paywall, you run the risk of being less relevant because you're not out in the ether all the time
Yes.
with everyone. You're not in the mix. You're not in the surf.
It's like Barstool.
Right. I think it's a really interesting idea. I think that celebrities can make a lot more money from their likeness. The challenge is when the Jonas Brothers have to release their next album and then they go on their next tour. The label and the promoter want them talking to as many people as humanly possible, not just to their fan club, right? Like this is basically a fan club that they're creating.
Yes.
And so as a result, if they're giving so much on free and publicly available platforms, what are you paying for?
Right.
So I think it's a really interesting idea, but I think the conundrum of it is, do you want to be big and reach as many people as possible, or do you want to get paid and hold all of your best content for a select few?
Yeah.
And I think that celebrities struggle with this. At Barstool, in 2016, there was 11 guys who just had something to say all the time. And they weren't promoting anything per se. They just were talking all the time. And like celebrities, it's more commercial than that,
I think this would only work if you've like already made it.
Yeah, and you're
the
like,
Jonas
I'm going
Brothers
to
already
commit. Yeah, the
so
Jonas Brothers
famous.
made it.
They're good.
But when I think they have a preemie that's home, right? One of the Jonas Brothers has a baby that's home, that's been in the NICU.
Yeah, they all-
I bet you didn't think I was that in the news, did you? All right, so instead of giving those photos to People magazine,
Yeah, which everyone does.
which they do, they would have to hold the photos for Scriber.
Yeah.
That's the dilemma.
Did you see, side note, the thing about Halsey this weekend?
No.
She did it. Did you guys see it? She made like a viral TikTok that was like, I have a song I really want to release, but my label won't let me unless I make a viral TikTok.
Really? That's great. Good for her.
And then ironically, that TikTok went viral, but they still won't release it.
Really?
Yeah.
So artists kind of fuck themselves because they take a big loan. They get paid. Yeah. Right. They get paid the upfront and then they got to work it off, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know how much Halsey's label has paid her. Like, she could just go Patreon, right? Like, it's so interesting how they make money.
Yeah,
There's a lot of dynamics at play. It's not simple.
Music, artists in general too.
Yep.
Okay. Amazon opens its first physical clothing store called Amazon Style.
I mean, smart that they're going physical. Doesn't Amazon have bookstores? Amazon has bookstores. It's smart that they're going physical.
Yeah.
Amazon Style is probably the most uninspiring name ever. I guess I would buy like generic thong underwear and like white t-shirts there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not buying anything I feel special in.
Oreo and Ritz are giving away free cookie cracker sandwiches.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah.
That sounds disgusting to me, but I like the gimmick of it.
Yeah.
I like the gimmick of it.
It
like
sounds gross to
salty
me, too.
sweet.
Yep, exactly.
Like, if you're a 12-year-old boy, that's probably pretty great.
Yeah. And like such two nostalgic brands.
Yeah, I
Ritz
agree.
and Oreo.
Are they owned by the same company?
Yeah, Mondelez.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Smart.
Okay.
All right. That's it for today, Bryn. So if you feel like it, you can sign up for things you missed. You can get merch. We have new business casual stuff, which we love. You can subscribe to watch this video and others like it on YouTube, or you can follow us on all of our socials, and we will be back here next week.